Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today we have some breaking news. So breaking, in fact, that we turned the lights back on during Spooky Month, and we're actually pushing some of our spooky reviews that I've already filmed and I'm currently in the process of editing till a bit later in the month, because this is actually some news that we talked about, well, kind of an extension of said news last month when we talked about some recent Ultraman sets. Some of those sets, by the way, that are out right now in the US, of course, licensed by Mill Creek, and we talked about the box art coming out for them. And now we have some more box art coming for some sets that are coming next month and even the month after that, completely wrapping up 2022. So let's actually take a look at some of those sets right now. So if you haven't been following the news, it's just fine because there is so much Ultraman content out in the US that's been coming out over the last 3 years that it's a lot, to be quite frank. So, and it's good, but it is a lot. So, if you didn't know, Ultraman Max, Ultraman Nexus, and Ultraman Kids have actually been confirmed and have had dates. The prices have fluctuated though, so these do seem to be the most up-to-date prices, and of course we're going to take a look at the box sets as well, and also talk about, what it entails and whatnot. So, looking at Ultraman Nexus, it is very interesting to see that we have here. So first of all, it's already on sale, which usually, if you're not too familiar with stuff that, like Ultraman stuff that's on Amazon, it usually is on sale compared to its Shout Factory, or rather, sorry, its Mill Creek counterpart. Also, by the way, these shows will probably not, at least not ASAP, be on Tubi. If you're in the US, I would highly suggest checking it out. Not a sponsorship whatsoever. It's a free website, a free streaming website that you can actually watch different tokusatsu on. A ton of Ultraman is there, and I would highly suggest using it before buying sets if you want to see the quality of either the subs or even just the way that it looks, and if you like the show, because not every Ultraman show is going to be for everyone. But when it comes to Ultraman Nexus here, it says that it is the complete series and Ultraman the Next. So before we get to what in the heck Ultraman the Next is, we can see here that it is $27.49 as of the recording of this video. Normally it would be $50. So it says that it is a 33% decrease, which is pretty good, but I will talk about why I think you should hold off on it just for a bit. Now, when it comes to when it's being released, it is going to be released November 15th, 2022, which is less than a month from now. By the time this video, actually, I'm sorry, by the time this video is out, a month and 2 days. I'm so sorry. No, but really though, it's coming up real soon, and it is absurd that we are getting this much Ultraman in this amount of time. It says that there are 6 number of discs and 16 hours, 57 minutes worth of runtime. Now, that does sound about right. Ultraman Nexus wasn't the longest series out there. It caps in the 30s. It's been a while since I saw it, but I do recommend it. When it comes to the Next, it's actually a prequel film that does tie into the show a little bit, but not really. I don't remember it being referenced so much that Next was required viewing, and while I did enjoy it, I did enjoy the show more. Now, how did I watch the Next, and how did I watch Nexus? Well, I'm not going to tell you about Nexus, but what I will say is, interestingly enough, I do have the Japanese DVD for Next. It's Region 2, so it was very hard to play back in the day. I had to have a region-free DVD player, but it actually had official English subs, so I'm very interested to see if those subs are going to be used here, or if they're going to have brand new subs for it. What's going to be likely is that they're going to have the Subadaya subs that are already in the catalog and not really fight them over it, especially because it makes it easier for Mill Creek in trying to release this in the US, meaning that we're going to have those Japanese DVD subs on this set. If it isn't, I would be very shocked, but it's probably going to be the same thing, which I don't remember the subs being egregious, so, having any, at least grammatical errors or anything like that, so at least we'll have competent subs. We can confirm, at least, if they are going to be the same subs, that they're going to be competent subs. Now, we don't know how the Ultraman Nexus subs are going to look like, and, again, I'll be talking about that a little bit later when it comes to pre-ordering and whatnot, just as the 3 sets overall. Now, looking at this box art, I do think that it's actually some of the best Ultraman box art that I've seen when it comes to the Heisei era, because sometimes it can be good, but just a little bit weird. Sometimes a little bit too either minimalist, or I don't know, it doesn't really pop, it doesn't really sell me. This actually pops very well. I enjoy it a lot, just the way all the different Ultramen kind of come together, the way that this, even though it's weird that it's the logo is that way instead of being the normal way you would see a logo on a box set. But I will say this much though, I love the Ultraman the Next logo. I've loved it for years, so seeing it at the bottom there is actually really cool. And on the back, just like with the Zerth DVD sets, you just have a split screen telling you about both the movie and the film. So it would be very interesting to see how these subs are going to look and of course the DVD quality as well. Having the series set on 6 discs means that you're probably going to have, if you have one disc just being for the movie, that's good. And then when you look at the other 5 discs, the show was 37 episodes long. So if you're only getting the episodes, and I don't know if there were any other specials, or at least I don't remember if there are, if those aren't included, then maybe each set has 8, 16, 24, 36, maybe 7 episodes a pop, which honestly not that bad when it comes to video quality and compression. So I am a big fan of that. So question mark? We'll have to find out. Now, moving on to Ultraman Max. This one does not have any sale price whatsoever. It's also going to be released November 15th, by the way, so it's going to be a busy day like usual when they have 2 Ultraman, either shows or movies or whatnot, release at the same time. Now, looking at the box art, not the biggest fan of it. I do like the earth behind it. It does, obviously, the sun from the earth makes the Ultraman pop, and you see some monsters in the background as well. So I do enjoy it. It's just that Ultraman Max's logo looks good, but not in this particular spot. So that's just my take on it. Looking at the back here, though, I really do love it. The night behind them, the tokusatsu backdrop of the different models and whatnot, and just Ultraman just going, you know what, I'm just going to chop your ass. So I'm a big fan of that. Max, though, as a series, I don't remember too well, which is not trying to be an indictment on it. I just don't remember if I gave up on it after a few episodes or I saw the entire series. I'm not too sure, which sounds like an indictment, but I swear to you it's not. Now, when it comes to the series, though, I remember this being a standard tokusatsu length. Let me make sure here. It should be around 50 episodes. If not, I would recommend it, if only to be a breeze. But again, this one probably will not be on Tubi either. So that is a little frustrating, especially when trying to have a little tasty taste of some of these shows. Now, actually, Max was 39 episodes, so then there is a chance that I might have seen it. Now, Nexus, however, just jumping back to that for a second, because I am here, want to make sure that I'm not wrong. Okay, so Nexus was 37, I was right. So disc space wise won't be too bad, I feel. Now, on Ultraman Max, however, with that, I mean, to be fair, again, only being 39 episodes, with one special that is not confirmed to be on here. Either way, though, it's $41. I don't remember if I should recommend it, so I'm not going to. I will say, though, that, if it's ever on Tubi or something like that, and you're on the fence, definitely check it out, because I remember enjoying earlier parts of it vaguely. It's been a while. Alright, so moving on to our last one, this is where things get really interesting, and I mean really interesting. So, we're talking about Ultraman Kids 3000, the complete series. Now, am I some huge fan of this? No! But the fact that we're getting some more Ultraman anime in the US from back in the day, and not just kind of continue, either just kind of letting the Ultraman that was released just kind of be the only one, the outlier. We're actually going to be having some more, and that does mean that potentially we could be having some more Ultraman from back in the day. Even some stuff that is, if this is not obscure to you, which I think it is, I've seen some reaction online, it does seem obscure to people, we can get even more obscure. And this is going to be very interesting to see if they go that route. Now, this one also not on sale, but only being $26. Now, it's the entire series. It has this tagline on it, so this might confuse you, and it confused the hell out of me, because there was a pilot originally for the show that then became this series. I do believe that there are some movies as well, but those do not seem to be included, and it is, even though it's called Ultraman Kids, it is officially called 30 Million Light Years in Search of Mother. I was under the impression that meant that it was like an OVA or a film, because again, there are some. As far as I know, there are some. So I thought it was that, and it was going to be like a little movie release, kind of like Zerth. So to know that we're getting an entire series here is actually pretty freaking cool. Now, it's going to only be 4 discs, and that concerns me. That concerns me a lot, everyone, because it's 26 episodes a pop. So, I mean, actually, no. It could be 6 or 7 per, maybe 1 disc having an extra. So, I mean, actually, never mind. I rescind that. This could be good. This could be good when it comes to compression. Now, sadly, though, for those that might need a dub for accessibility reasons, this is going the cheap route, the way the rest of the sets are, in that there is no dub, even though, yes, it's an anime, so you would think that there would be a dub, even just an extremely cheaply made dub, or maybe some dub that's in the archives or something. But sadly, when it comes to Mill Creek's releases, even stuff that Subadaya has in the archives, they are not putting on DVDs or whatnot. Not saying that there is a dub for this in the archives. I have no idea. In English English dub. But even if there was, it wouldn't be on the set anyway. So sadly, this is going to be sub only. I do like that when it comes to an affordability factor, that does make it $26 instead of like separating them, because that's the thing with dubs, is that even the ones that are extremely cheaply made, where voice actors should definitely be paid more, maybe even have a union perhaps, in those situations, you still end up having licensing being so expensive that, you know, depending on the company, obviously things are changing a lot in the industry, but what the, you know, older industry practices were is that they would be released, if you're not too familiar with buying anime on DVD or Blu-ray, which is truly a thing that we can say nowadays, honestly, when you look at streaming, yes, it would usually, you know, take those episodes, let's say a 26 episode season, split it into like 13 and 13, and then charge you 40 a pop, because of the fact that the licensing was expensive. In this case, though, instead of just going through the, you know, trying to get a dub and whatnot, or trying to hire actors and, you know, other directors and whatnot to have a dub to then put it on the disc, and then that would also take up space on the disc as well, they're just going the, you know, subtitle only route, which again is fine. It makes sense for the tokusatsu, even though I would like dubs on there. But when it comes to an anime like this, especially one that is extremely kid friendly, at least seemingly on the surface, it is definitely, you know, sad, I will admit. So hopefully in the future, in some way or another, we can get a dub for this, and maybe even some of the other anime out there, but I'm not going to hold my breath. What I will say, though, is I talked about the price. I did not talk about the release date, which is December 6th, 2022, so you do have a bit more time on that. I will talk about why maybe don't pre-order this and some of the other sets, like I was alluding to earlier. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the box art, which is absolutely freaking adorable. These little tiny... It's funny because I would say SD, which usually, you know, not only has happened for Ultraman, but also Kamen Rider as well. But no, they are just literal children versions of, like, I assume maybe... There is no continuity here, but if there was, literally just all of them as kids. So it's just really cute. There's a school and everything. I've seen screenshots of this online, but never a full episode. So this is going to be fun to see. But, again, though, not saying that you should pre-order it day one or even buy it day one. And so here's why. So first things first, this is actually a Mill Creek potential issue. So when it comes to some of the subtitles, if you're not too familiar how the process like this would work, because you would think, especially, you know, if you know about other industries and like the anime industry and the way they usually do things, normally you end up having a translator for a particular project. Now, if it's a much larger project, you're going to get a bunch of other translators in there. You're not really going to have the same translator usually for the entire show, but it can happen, but it's usually significantly rare. So you're going to have translators coming in and doing their thing and then moving on. In this case, and though, by the way, those translators are going to be hired by the actual company that licensed it. However, in this case, when you look at the sheer volume of tokusatsu stuff, in this case Ultraman stuff by Mill Creek that is being released, they're actually going to translation houses, and some have produced better quality than others. So there is actually some talk that when it came to the Gridman release, even the Ultraman release, which is an anime release, when it came to both of those, the quality was subpar when it came to the subtitles. Now, I would highly suggest checking it out on Tubi if you can, to just kind of, you know, if you don't believe me, that's totally fine. Check it out there and groan the way others did, both from a grammatical perspective and also even from the Ultraman, timing-wise. Apparently the timing was off, and that was an official release that you could buy officially. So I would suggest, I don't know if they're using a different translation house for the animation, no idea, but, you know, when it comes to anime, Ultraman anime in this case, I would suggest waiting just a bit, just for some reviews. Am I going to buy it day one? No, but for a completely different reason, although that is definitely one of the reasons why. And if you still want to buy it, you want something nice on your shelf, what I highly suggest that you do, I would highly suggest that you go on eBay and buy it from a second-hand or third-hand seller. Do not give your money to Mill Creek if they are putting out a subpar product. I'm not saying do this across the board. Obviously, I've given them some money. I recently did, actually. There's a lot of Ultraman stuff on sale, and I'm still giving them you know, my money. But when it comes to pre-orders, would highly suggest waiting, especially when it comes to the anime stuff. Still hyped, though, because we could be getting some more obscure anime. It's just that when you're putting money down, real-world money down on these sets and not just watching through streaming, which you can say, you know, it's bundled, either it's a free streaming service like Tubi or it's bundled in my monthly subscription. No, you're specifically paying for these DVDs. So would highly suggest waiting on it. And when it comes to pre-ordering in general, especially on Amazon, while the prices can be significantly cheaper, I actually recently pre-ordered Ultraman Neos and Ultraman Zerth. I actually talked highly about them when we took a look at the box art just last month. But what ended up happening? Neos was not Amazon's fault at all. That was just me looking at my wallet and going, maybe not today. But when it came to Zerth, it's actually super delayed. I assume it has something to do with how many copies Mill Creek had sent to Amazon. And because it was delayed, Amazon sent me an email saying, hey, do you still want this? Please click on this link by November 4th, 2022. And I looked at all these Ultraman sets on sale, and I looked at my wallet, and I said, maybe not today, especially because of the fact that every time I tried to click on the link to confirm that I did still want it, I did it 3-4 times. Amazon kept on saying, no, you haven't confirmed yet. Please confirm by November 2022. I think it was the 4th. So I was like, no, I'm good. So even though it's not technically Mill Creek's fault, although maybe it is compared to how many sets that they put out, maybe demand is higher than they thought. Could be an issue on Amazon's side as well. I've also tried pre-ordering video games through Amazon, and it takes weeks for me to get. So I've just completely soured on that. I actually, like I mentioned before, I actually bought Ultraman Tiga for literally $10 and Ultraman Mebius for $11. And while Tiga did come out just last year, Mebius is only like 6 months old, I believe. So when you look at the prices on those, I would highly suggest, even just from a sales and a deals perspective, if you're kind of looking at your wallet going today, I would highly suggest maybe waiting a few months on that. But, you know, if price is not a concern, just getting your item is a concern. I'm getting those two in literally 2 days. By the time this video is out, I may already have one of the sets. And Zerth, nowhere to be found. And good thing I canceled my Neos one, because when I did, I see that it isn't currently in stock on Amazon. So they're going to be restocked. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pull the alarm here and say that they're not going to be restocked. They will. But I still do believe that if you're pre-ordering on Amazon, don't. Maybe just wait a little bit till they're restocked and then picking them up then. Because they were actually a little bit cheaper. So that's why I was really intrigued in wanting to get them. But no, just no. Alright everybody, so that about wraps up this video that I did not think would take this long. I thought it would just be a quick little look at some box art, then all of a sudden here we are talking about things that we love. And I want to hear if you're loving this and if you're interested in some of this stuff down in the comment section down below. Which one of these 3 sets is your favorite? And also, again, I highly suggest jumping on those Ultraman deals, because there's also some other stuff that's on sale as well, and I will definitely be jumping on it as well. So either way though, if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Love you all, take care, and tune in next time. So, see ya.